Hello everyone, and welcome to another bottled Sky Devlog. As mentioned in the last video, I am now able to work on the game full-time, and I've been doing so for a month. If you haven't been following along, I've already built the core mechanics of the game, which are movement, gathering, and combat, but not much content to give those features much meaning yet. Since creating those core mechanics, I've been focusing on making those features feel as fun and satisfying as possible before getting stuck into creating new content and features. This video is going to be jam-packed full of visual upgrades and polishing details. Before I get started on that though, if you like what you're seeing, then subscribe to get notified about future videos. If you'd like to follow the development of Bottled Sky more closely, then I post more frequent updates about the game in my Discord server. Check out the links in the description for those details. Alrighty, first off, you might have noticed the shuttle now looks a bit more 3D. This is probably one of my favourite effects here because it really helps sell the momentum and physics of your movement. Even though the physics I've designed for the game won't be realistic, that doesn't mean everything has to look fake. This is quite an arduous effect to create. Just ask the artist who learned how to use Blender just to make a 3D model of the shuttle, and then laboriously hand draw about 40 images of it at different rotations. It's not even done yet. The sprites are still very flat shaded. We're hoping to target this darker, grittier style, but understandably the artist needed a break and wanted to work on something else for a bit. At the moment, this doesn't affect gameplay at all. Even the collider doesn't yet adjust with the rotation of the shuttle. That might be something I'll add later, but for now it's not really noticeable that the collider doesn't change. Next feature. Okay, I know I said that I was avoiding adding new game mechanics, but this is a detail that I felt was missing from an existing feature. You can now drop items from your inventory. You can do it either by selecting an item and opening the context menu, then you'll see an option that says drop. Choosing this option will remove the entire item stack from the inventory and spawn an interactable object in the world at your shuttle's location. The other way to do this is by dragging and dropping the item from the inventory into the world, and the interactable pickup will spawn wherever your cursor was when you dropped the item. This is useful if you find an item you want to take with you, but your inventory is too full to hold it. Dropping an unneeded item will free up the slot so that you can pick up the item you really want. Then, if you change your mind, you're able to pick it up again. At the moment, dropped items aren't saved by the save system, so if you were to enter the hub and reload the space scene, then dropped items won't be loaded back in. I'm currently unsure as to how I want to handle dropped items long term. If I were to save all dropped items, then there are potential performance concerns the more items you leave lying around, and it could also potentially lead to the game world being littered with items you don't want. If I don't save dropped items, then players might unexpectedly lose items that they may have been hoping to keep. I have a few ideas for how to handle this problem, but I think I'll wait until more of the game is fleshed out, and after some playtesting. Okay, here is another piece of game polish. When you drill into an asteroid, previously there were no animations, but now the drill spins. On top of that, there are also sound effects for the initial impact when the drill hits an asteroid, and the constant whirring sound that loops until you're done drilling. Then finally, the asteroid plays a sound effect when it is destroyed. There is more that I'd like to do with this interaction. I'm not fully satisfied with the sound effects I made, but it's not a good idea to get too deep into tweaking sound effects when I don't yet know what the full audio mix will sound like. There's also more animation work to do, particularly things like particle effects are still missing, but I'm likely going to be adding these things by the end of March. More in the sound effects department, I worked on some engine audio. Initially, I made something that was more loud and gritty. It really felt like an engine was whirring and being worked hard, but I decided that since this is something the player will have to listen to constantly throughout their gameplay, it might end up being annoying, or worse, giving players a headache. Instead, I chose to try again and go with audio that was smoother and more muted. For now, I'm confident that the engine audio does its job without being annoying, but it might be something I'll revisit later once more of the full audio mix has been created. One thing that helps engine audio sound better as a player is that it is interactive. It's not just a constant looping noise. It actually reacts to events in the game. The pitch, volume, and quality of the sound changes depending on factors like acceleration and speed. This also applies to when you're drilling. I want to imply that you aren't just drilling an asteroid, but also trying to push your way through it. This is also reflected by the big speed boost you get when you finally finish drilling an asteroid. To follow along with the engine sound effects, I also created some particle effects to really show off when the engine is being pushed. The fire coming from the shuttle's thruster will flare up if you're moving fast, or die down to some light burning when you aren't moving. Creating this visual effect also had the positive, unintentional side effect of showing the player what their momentum is in whatever given frame. You could take a screenshot from any point in gameplay and be able to understand how fast the shuttle is moving, what direction it's trying to move in, and what direction it's actually moving in based on how the fire might be skewed. Granted, I think this is only a minor positive side effect, but unintentional nonetheless. Next up, another visual upgrade. The shuttle now does a cool spin whenever you finish drilling an asteroid. This one was actually the artist's idea, but I created this effect by reusing all the rotated shuttle sprites. There's not much to say about this one. It looks cool, feels awesome, and helps sell the idea that the pilot is skilled and really enjoys flying around. And finally, last but not least, the enemy AI I created a few months ago has now been dubbed as Hamster. And given its own design and set of animations. Hamsters are a common space wildlife in this world. They're not particularly territorial, but they love food and will fight anything that tries to take it from them. Their main food intake is the abundant source of asteroids. Their bodies are specialized for breaking down and digesting large amounts of rock and absorbing whatever minerals they need. As long as you don't destroy any asteroids nearby, they won't bother you at all. But that being said, since they are very common wildlife, they are frequently found fighting each other over food. Their main form of defending themselves is by spitting chunks of rock collected within their mouth pouches. They are capable of strong close-range attacks using either their tongue or body, but they prefer to avoid direct contact as they don't have tough hides to protect themselves from damage. Hamsters are often seen retreating mid-fight to eat an asteroid just to restock on more rocks to spit at its foe. These animations aren't finished yet. You might have noticed that the asteroid eating animation could do with more work. I also haven't created any sound effects for the hamster yet. One thing that made this design take longer than expected was requiring a different set of all animations based on whether the hamster's mouth was empty or full. That means that it has 2 different movement animations, 2 different spitting animations, 2 different melee attack animations, and many more. But I'm hoping to have all of this done by the end of March. Despite various troubles regarding our travel to Sweden, Max, the artist, has done a tremendous job getting all these sprites and animations done. If you like this art style, then maybe check out his YouTube channel to see more of his work. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. This is most of what I've worked on for the last month, but there are a few story-related details I've left out because I'd like to keep these videos light on story and spoiler-free. If you enjoyed the video, then click the like button, subscribe if you want to be notified about future videos, and join the Discord server if you want to see more frequent updates about the game. Check the description for relevant links. Thanks for watching, that's all for now, and I'll see you later.